very good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure to join you all this morning as we gather to commemorate the Golden Jubilee of the Lautoka School for Special Education. As indicated by Mr. Pillay, I was here years back in 1986. I remember it was during the flooding of the Waimanu River. I had attended a school beside that river, and they had closed the school. I had an aunt who was a nun. She was taking me around the Queen's Road to take me back to my parents in Rakiraki, and we spent the night here. And that was the first time that I had the experience of learning from kids with special needs. I spent a night with them, and they taught me alphabets and sign. It's a memory that is still very vivid in my mind. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here again today to share this special occasion with all of you. Mr. Pillay, thank you for inviting me here and for such a warm reception from your children. Disability is referenced in various parts of the Sustainable Development Goals, of the 2030 Agenda, as they call it, and specifically in parts related to education, to growth and employment, inequality, accessibility of human settlements and institutions, as well as data collection and monitoring of these global goals. For us in Fiji, these sentiments are echoed in our 2013 Constitution. And ladies and gentlemen, Section 42 of our Constitution, this is the first time that this country has ever referred to disabilities attaching rights for persons living with disabilities for us. So it was a huge step forward for us as a nation. Come 2017, the Fijian government signed up to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And with that international obligation on the platform, it was necessary for us as a state to put together domestic law, specifically realizing, recognizing, and mandating the state to recognize the rights of persons living with disabilities. And that is why we now have what we call the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2018. With this strong legal mandate comes a collateral duty to initiate programs for the fulfillment of our legal obligations as a state. And this requires a whole-of-nation collaborative effort. Mr. Pillay, thank you for identifying specific challenges that you face as an institution. Parents, I must say, you're very blessed. This is the first time I'm meeting Mr. Pillay. And from the few sentiments that he shared here this morning, it shows that you have a leader that has a passion for the job that he has. You would know better. I'm judging this from the address that he gave this morning. Identifying critical areas, critical gaps that exist that can help us help you better. And I'm thankful for that. And I'd like to reassure you that my ministry stands ready to fill up the gaps that you've identified this morning. Thank you. The Fijian government's political will is reflected in the budgetary allocation towards programs aimed to support the needs of Fijians living with disabilities. I think we know a lot of them. The disability allowance, for example, grants to disabled persons organizations, infrastructure improvement to make them disability friendly, tertiary education support, the Western Disability Center. For some of us, they may not have heard about it. This is a huge infrastructure development that we're doing here in Lautoka. We've got a subsidized bus fare scheme, to name a few. In total, if we are to look at this year's budget allocation across of government, across of every government ministry, government has allocated $21.8 million in this financial year towards programs aimed at the empowerment of persons living with disabilities. Yes, we still have a long way to go, but as Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, with a mandate to look after disability issues as well, I am encouraged that there is a political will at the leadership level to allocate such an amount of money towards persons living with disabilities. And when I compare this figure to previous years, there has been a vast increase over the years. I wish to also thank civil society and service providers like the Lautoka School for Special Education in helping government to implement its vision for inclusive development for persons living with disabilities. We look forward to a closer, stronger partnership after today and a collaborative effort in ensuring that the rights of Fijians living with disabilities are fully enjoyed by them in all aspects. The service delivery of the Lautoka School for Special Education is not only commendable, but addresses an extremely crucial need in our society. Growing up can be a difficult process that is further complicated when a child has special needs. Among other repercussions, those special needs may impede the child's ability to learn independently or in an ordinary classroom setting. And this is exactly why education services for children with special needs is so important. As special education services are designed to address each student's individual, different, unique abilities. The Lautoka School for Special Education, which was established in the year of our independence, I understand now has 132 students enrolled. And it was quite enlightening to hear about the challenges that Mr. Pillay addressed. About children that are still out there not having access to education, mainly because of our inability as parents to carry out our parental duties and obligations. Parents, there's a handbook that we use in the office and which I cite all the time, the name of this handbook, Children Are a Gift from God. Children are our responsibility, first and foremost, as parents. Government, community, church, that's after. As parents, it is our duty, our God-given duty, to ensure that the best interests of our child is taken care of. Education is so critical to any child's development, and even more so for children with special needs. And if we as parents are paying regard to the social stigma attached to disabilities, if we are listening to our neighbors and those around us, and not doing our parental duty, taking our children to school because of that stigma, because of that social impact, then we are failing. We're failing in our duty as parents. So for the parents that are here and have your children here, I congratulate you. But please, go out there and find those other parents that are not bringing their children forward and encourage them. At the ministry, we can only do so much. We do have a program, it's called the REACH program. We go out to unreachable places, to places where people find it difficult to access government services. And we do our bit in awareness. There's much more that can be done. But you as parents can also do a lot in that regard. Just talking about the transformation that your children go through in school. Share it with parents who may not be bringing their kids forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lautoka School for Special Education is the only institution, the western of Fiji, providing education and care for children from early years to vocational level, while providing accommodation for children with special needs. I'm told that the school also wishes to establish Fiji's first disability training and support center for special education to overcome the shortage of special education specialists, speech pathologists, and other disability specialists in Fiji, and to establish a parental support group with focus on mental well-being and developing positive parenting skills associated with raising children with special needs. This is something that will go a long way in ensuring the sustainability of special education in Fiji. And again, to the school board, the ministry stands ready to assist in whatever way we can to see this vision, this dream, become a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, the visionary plans for development of the school speaks volumes about how this institution sees its own holistic development. It also speaks volumes about the passion that the school board and the school head has for the programs that it runs here. I wish to conclude by saying that it is true that educating children with special needs is sometimes more challenging, but the reward for the learning is unmatched. I thank each one of you who contribute in any which way towards the development and education for our children with special needs. We have a long way to go in building a truly inclusive society, but we are progressing. Government cannot do this alone. And I thank you, parents. I thank you for taking that step forward to bring your children in for education. I thank the school head and the school board for the passion and the drive, the determination and the stuff that you show towards our children each and every day. Let's keep the momentum going, and I once again thank the Lautoka School for Special Education for being a part of this progress in a big way for the past 50 years. Congratulations, and I wish you all the very best in your future plans for the next 50. Vuniwaqa, thank you.